Hello, good morning, everybody.
Good morning, Alan.
Indeed, I'm very happy. The explanation about Buddhist philosophy, the Buddhist system, to a large number of people, essentially come from non-Buddhist countries. Now we are in a period, world become much smaller. So that small planet actually multi-religious humanity. And then information also now available, different traditions. And in any way, we have more sort of interact. 이거 뜻을 거예요. 뜻을 거예요. 알레, Mr. Rangraj Toro. So sometimes when people remain more or less isolated, then it is okay. Just concept, live with concept, one religion, one truth. That's good. Now today, our very way of life is very much sort of interact. So such period, sometimes they believe one truth, one religion. For individual case, very useful, very helpful to develop single-pointed faith. Very good, useful. But in the terms of the humanity, in the terms of group of people, then we have to develop the concept of several truths, several religions. Whether we like it or not, last over 3,000 years, different tradition already there. That's a reality, that's a fact. So therefore, in order to develop concept of several truths, several religions, it is useful to know more about other traditions. For example, my own case, when we were in Tibet, of course, last, I think, almost 4 centuries, Tibetan Muslims there, Tibetan Muslims there. So we have some sort of we know that there are Muslim Islam religions. But not much sort of serious discussion on these things. So then we simply feel, Buddhism is the best religion, that kind of feeling. After I came to India, wider contact with different people with different religions to the faith. Then more serious university talk. Then I learned, like Christianity, Islam, of course, different Hinduism, Jainism, Judaism, and Sufi, and also the Zoroastrian, that's the Parsi religion. And I have more sort of contact with these practitioners, these people, people with different sort of faith. Immense help to develop respect and admiration. So that's the basis of changing the spirit of religious harmony. So therefore, when people ask me some sort of teaching about Buddhism, so my view is not some kind of propagating Buddhism, but simply inform what's the Buddhist sort of concept. Now, for example, we Buddhists, Tibetan Buddhist monks, nuns, they spend few weeks in Christian monastery or nunnery. Very useful to get the deeper understanding of the value of Christianity. And then, since many years, I always is telling Tibetan Buddhist monks, nuns, we must carry more sort of social sort of work or service to the society, mainly in education field as well as health field. The Christianity, Christian people, really, I think, greatest contribution, made greatest contribution all over the world regarding education and health. So we must learn. The Christian brothers and sisters sort of great service to the humanity, to society. Or sometimes these people also you see carry some missionary work to conversion. That is sometimes you see create problems. So therefore, we learn from other traditional sort of people, other tradition, very useful. So similarly, people who have sort of different tradition, different faith, can use from other tradition. Then another thing, Buddhism is one of the India's ancient religion, ancient sort of spiritual tradition. In India, over 3,000 years, there's concept secularism. Secularism means not disrespect of religions, but rather respect all religions. No preference of this religion or that religion. Respect all religions, including non-believer, ancient nihilist, that the Sanskrit word charvaka, so denying existence of next life or existence of any spirituality, simply day-to-day life. Very, I think, materialist. You see, really, we can consider ancient atheism. Atheism. I think atheism is nihilism. So the secularism means also respect these non-believer. So since Buddhism developed that kind of a situation or environment, so Buddhism also respect different people, different views. So therefore, Buddha taught different sort of philosophical views because among his own disciples, there are different mental disposition. Therefore, he taught different views, different philosophical views. Philosophical view itself contradictory, but Buddha, same teacher, he taught this contradictory philosophy because among his sort of follower, there are different people with different mental disposition. Therefore, just one sort of philosophical view is may not helpful. So he deliberately taught different philosophical views, itself contradictory. So this clearly shows Buddha respect different individuals' view. And he taught, according to their mental disposition, some different sort of teaching he taught. So this is clear sign. So therefore, Buddhism also, accept a non-believer as a human brother, sisters. So some of them sort of say, Buddhist university, knowledge about our mind, about our emotion. These, for non-believers also, it's very useful to learn these things in order to tackle your own disturbance of the emotions, like that. So that's the reason I'm happy to give some of the lecture on Buddhism. Except tomorrow morning, there's more, I don't know, more, I think, religious aspect. So I will sit on throne. So I have to pretend I'm a very holy person. Actually, self-deceiving way. Right. This is some sort of spiritual leaders, including many Tibetan spiritual leaders, they pretend they have some special sort of power, miracle power, like that. It is nonsense. Yes. So today and tomorrow, I think afternoon, I think both, I prefer speak you from chair. Yeah, same level. Now, I would like to start this way. I think first, maybe I think when I give a lecture on Buddhism, at the beginning, recitation, some prayers or some text. So historically, the Pali tradition is the earliest Buddhist tradition, and also the teaching for noble truth. These are fundamental sort of the teaching of Buddha. So, at the beginning, please recite the Mangalam Sutra in Pali. Isn't it? Mangalam Sutra. Huh?
Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Buddhaṃ saraṇaṃ gacchāmi, Dhammaṃ saraṇaṃ gacchāmi, Saṅghaṃ saraṇaṃ gacchāmi, Dutiyampi Buddhaṃ saraṇaṃ gacchāmi, Dutiyampi Dhammaṃ saraṇaṃ gacchāmi, Dutiyampi Saṅghaṃ saraṇaṃ gacchāmi, Tatiyampi Buddhaṃ saraṇaṃ gacchāmi, Tatiyampi Dhammaṃ saraṇaṃ gacchāmi, Tatiyampi Saṅghaṃ saraṇaṃ gacchāmi. Itipiso bhagavārāṃ sammā sambuddho vichācarana sampanno sugato lokavido anuttaro purisa dhamma sārati sattā deva manussānaṃ buddho bhagavāti Sanjivita paryantaṃ saraṇaṃ gacchāmi svakato bhagavata dhammo sanditthiko akaliko ehipassiko panayiko pacchattaṃ vedittabbo viñño Dhammaṃ jīvita paryantaṃ saraṇaṃ gacchāmi supatipanno bhagavato sāvaka saṅgho ujjupatipanno bhagavato sāvaka saṅgho ñāyapatipanno bhagavato sāvaka saṅgho sāmīci patipanno bhagavato sāvaka saṅgho yadidaṃ cattari purisa yugani aṭṭha purisa puggala esa bhagavato sāvaka saṅgho āhuneyo pāhuneyo dakkineyo anjali karaniyo anuttaram puññakhettaṃ lokassāti saṅghaṃ jīvita paryantaṃ සරණං ගච්ඡාමි සබ්බීතියෝ විවජ්ජන්තු සබ්බ රෝගෝ විනස්සතු මාතේ භවත්වන්තරායෝ සුඛී දීඝායුකෝ භව භවතු සබ්බ මංගලං රක්ඛන්තු සබ්බ දේවතා සබ්බ බුද්ධානුභාවේන සදා සොත්ති භවන්තු තේ භවතු සබ්බ මංගලං රක්ඛන්තු සබ්බ දේවතා සබ්බ ධම්මානුභාවේන සදා සොත්ති භවන්තු තේ භවතු සබ්බ මංගලං රක්ඛන්තු සබ්බ දේවතා සබ්බ සංඝානුභාවේන සදා සොත්ථේ භවන්තු තේ.
천안 대딜와 고불루룩 자식 취주대도와 I think I want to start this way. We human being, you see, the humanity, I mean, human species is a start on this planet. Then eventually, human intelligence, provides or find, I think human intelligence is a find or provide certain concept which help when we facing really helpless, when we face some tremendous difficulties. Then there's some idea which can keep our hope. So that develop the faith. So perhaps I think 5,000 years. For 5,000 years, you see, we different places, we develop faith. Faith is useful to keep our hope. Then that faith eventually that faith with reasons, with some philosophical sort of views, in order to strengthening that faith. Then different sort of different religion with different philosophical views develop. So that usually I describe major world religious tradition. And then I think last few thousand years we simply put all our hope on religious faith. Then I think last about 300 years, around 300 years, we gain our human intelligence, you see, find more sort of investigation. What's the reality? So that's modern science develop. And with help of modern science, the technology also developed. So technology brings those things which we want immediately produce, immediately bring. So then, generally, humanity sort of say, showing more interest about material development, materialism. So that goes, and then people sometimes not very serious about religious sort of faith. I think obviously we can see today people who call themselves as a follower of Jesus Christ or follower of some sort of their own sort of God or goddess or devas and devis, I think including Buddhist. Although they keep faith, they themselves consider as a religious believer. But when they carry real life, not much sort of what's the concern about what your faith teach you. So we simply follow ordinary way in order to get more wealth, more money, more power. No hesitation, use, lie, telling lie, hypocrisy, bully, cheating, like that. So these people actually not serious about religion. They simply carry religion, religious faith, as a tradition, not much sort of serious. So that kind of people, that category, also now seems to be increasing. So these I consider essentially non-believer. So I think the genuine religious believer, 24 hours carry their teaching, practice of love. Love means self-love, 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 I think even animal also have. When we talk about practice of love means love other, respect other. That means it's a sense of concern of others' well-being. Any person who really have this sense, genuine sort of sense of concern of others' well-being, then no basis of cheating, no basis of bullying, no basis of telling a lie or exploit, because you take serious concern about their well-being. And how can such person, you see, through unjust way to gain oneself something? So essentially, these people are not non-believer or not serious sort of belief. So that quite a big portion. And then some people openly criticize religion, against religion. So therefore, now generally we need a certain method or certain way of approach to promote inner value, irrespective whether believer or non-believer. More scientific way to approach these inner value. Now, it is possible because I think two factors. One factor, among the people who materially, everything there, every facility is there. But as a person, as a human being, deep inside, something missing. Anxiety, too much stress, fear, distress. Result, unhappy person. And often such billionaire or millionaire, very rich, but deep inside, lonely feeling. So these people eventually realize limitation of material value. So they, through their own experience, now they know the material value alone will not bring sort of, what's the inner strength or what's the joyful mind or the peace of mind. This is one factor. Another factor, as I mentioned earlier, last 200 to 300 years, this is science developed. Science, I think scientific sort of research, I think we can say seeking truth or seeking reality. Genuine scientists, their mind very open. Remain skepticism and then carry investigation. Ancient Buddhist tradition also stress you need skepticism because skepticism brings questions. Question brings investigation. Investigation brings answer. So, skeptical attitude is very useful, very helpful, provided must be open, must be objective. So, therefore, you see, scientific research is actually find out the reality. So now, I think till late part of 20th century, the modern science mainly focusing matters, including our sort of bodies, also as a category, and the matter, our brain, our neurons, genes, or these things, matter, particle. So mainly carry research on that. So later part of 20th century, more and more scientists, especially brain specialists, and also the medical sort of scientists, they begin to realize human emotion is something very important factor for our health, and also quite sort of forceful to change our mind, our brain. So therefore, now for example, according to sort of scientists, some scientists, you see, they mentioned when we develop fear, emotion, fear develop, the blood circulation goes towards leg. So prepare to run away. Anger develop, anger emotion develop. The blood circulation goes more hand, ready to fight. Or defend yourself. So the emotions, the biological factors of course, very much interdependent. Sometimes physical sort of factor helping to develop certain emotions. Sometimes certain emotion, you see, they the effect of body sort of reaction like that. So so in medical field, now they begin medical or the brain specialist, now they begin to sort of show interest or more curiosity. What is emotion? How it develops? So emotion means part of mind. We call Shiva consciousness or something. So now the scientists, many scientists, already carry some experiment. The people, some sort of limited or selected people, or including some children, students, you see, give them 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, some kind of training about mind, mindfulness, and also compassion. So before that kind of sort of also the experiment, they check blood pressure and amount of stress, and then some other sort of ways to test. Then after 3-4 weeks, again they check. So they found blood pressure reduced, stress much reduced, person become more relaxed. And then more important, even if you see the student, the concentration power on the subject which they study, that also improve. And then more important, there are also the social relations already.
Social relations.
Social relations also then becoming much more peaceful, much more sort of friendly. So therefore, some universities in America, mainly in America, and also in India, they carry sort of some project as an experiment, a pilot project like that. So therefore, now since the later part of 20th century, now this is beginning of 21st century, in the scientific field, more and more sort of research work about emotions, about mind. So therefore, the 1,000-year-old traditions, the different sort of major religious tradition, they all different way, but dealing with mind. So now among I think firstly all major religious tradition, whether they explain or not, actually all major religious tradition dealing with mind. Now, all major religious tradition carry the message of love, compassion, forgiveness, tolerance, self-discipline, contentment. These are related with mind. Then, single-pointed faith towards, faith. Faith also, the mental level sort of what's the thing. Single-pointed faith brings inner strength and some kind of bliss. And now here, among major religious tradition, basically two categories. One category, theistic. The concept of creator, God, absolute, permanent. So that's like, I think Judaism, Christianity, Islam, many Hindus used to believe that. Then Jainism, of course, Indian religion, Jainism, Buddhism, and then another ancient Indian non-Buddhist sort of spirituality, that is Sankhya philosophy. Within Sankhya, two groups. One group accept God, creator. Another know that idea. So that sort of what's a Sankhya sort of philosophy and Jain philosophy, Buddhist philosophy, mainly these three, no concept of God, creator. Simply things happen due to its own causes and conditions. So these mainly three sort of traditions of India is a belief law of causality. That's quite similar. Darwinian theory, cause, effect, cause, effect, cause, effect. That's where it change. No sort of what's the creator. Now here, the theistic religion is a belief God, creator. Truly our Father. So single-pointed sort of faith. You totally, submit to God, creator. So that actually reduces extreme self-centered arrogance. I'm nothing but creation of God. So, serving God. One way serve God, of course, prayer. These things also is a part of the serving God, but mainly show love towards fellow human beings or the fellow creatures. So, the theistic religions sort of more or less same effect to reduce self-centered attitude, more altruism. The Buddhism, Jainism, these also, you see, they try to reduce self-centered arrogance. So particularly Buddhists, you see, then the Buddhists you see, carry the theory, no soul theory. Usual also self-centered attitude, very much related with some kind of sort of the belief, the independent self, something solid. So Buddhists say no such sort of solid sort of I. I is mere designated thing. Right? So different way of approach. But the result, all is dealing with self-centered attitude, reduce that, and increase altruistic sort of mind. So all major religious traditions really deal with our mind and try to bring inner peace. Different method, like that. And according my one sort of Sufi practitioner. According to that person, Sufism also say some, at least I think, some sort of part, some branch of Sufism, no idea of creator, believe self-creation, like that. So my point is, so all major tradition, the philosophical field, big differences. Some say there's God, some say no God. But you see, all aiming how to reduce self-centered sort of arrogance and try to increase altruism. So, those ancient, how should they, I think Indian Buddhist, particularly the Nalanda tradition, most of the text wrote by Nalanda masters, they always mention different sort of, what should they, traditions, their philosophical views, always mention that. And later in Tibetan sort of, what should they, writings, generally just focusing the audience, take for granted as a Buddhist. So therefore, I felt now we must go to ancient Indian tradition. And I think logically, in India, so many different traditions already there. So those Buddhist masters, they are writing, mentioned all these different traditions, and then some sort of, what should they, analyze different sort of, what should they, views, and sometimes little argument, debate like that. So it is very, very helpful. Whereas in Tibet, since the 8th centuries, 9th centuries, I think the majority of Tibetan becoming Buddhist. So then, not much sort of relevant to, what should they, to discuss these different variety of philosophical views. So now, here, today, now we outside Tibet, there are sort of say, different traditions there. So it is important to know these different sort of views of different traditions. One occasion in India, one interfaith service, one Sufi scholars, he raised 3 questions. Number 1 question, what is self? One question. Another question, whether there is beginning or not about that self. Then 3rd question, whether that self, there is end or not. 3 questions. So that's very useful. I found it very useful. So now, the answer for first question, now 2 divisions. Only Buddhism say no absolute independent self. Buddha stated that Buddha stated 다지샤오 뒤이심. 그래서 그래. 누구왜? 딱 하나 둘이 다 세야돼. 묘모 셴 상마 제세 시치가레스. 자 디인들전에 드리스. 그 뒤심도 그래스. 다지샤오 뒤이심. 다 대체 누구다? 다 가다 두지 풍부 뒤동데 대나 다는 여마인스. 전에 두지 풍부 나라 다요 말이지. 저 들리인도 다 다스는데 못 죽어리지. 오늘 다 매번 했어라 말이지. 지들이야라 처나라 때네 신도 저거 딸 디신 풍분남 때네 그줬으면 저이지. 다 세야 매번 말이지. 다 세야 돼. 풍부 셉네 랑선바 요 말을 때 풍부를 때네 다 다시 죽어리지. 다시 죽어리지. So now answer for first question, what is self? So now two divisions. Only Buddhism have the theory, non-soul theory. The rest of all major traditions accept soul. Hindu, according to Hindus, ancient, as a non-Buddhist sort of Indian tradition, they all accept Atma, soul, independent, something we can identify beside this body, something independent, as the owner of this body and mind, Atma, self. So Buddhists do not accept that. So therefore, answer for first question, now two divisions. Then second question, where there is beginning or not. Then all those traditions which believe creator, then yes, there's beginning. Creator creates. At that time, you see, self, create. One my Christian friend, one day, one time I asked him, Christians, if you accept the previous life, then and next life, what's matter? Right? And he told me, no, this very life created by God. So this very life is the first life. So that concept very powerful. This very life given by God. So naturally, you see, you develop some kind of strong feeling of intimacy with God. So more that feeling, more willingness to follow. Or see God's sort of guidance, right? Guide, or more God's teaching. So therefore, those sort of tradition which accept creator, then there is beginning of self. Some Indian tradition, they accept life after life. But ultimately, Atma created by God, by Brahma, like that. So although you see several lives, but still there is beginning. Now, Jainism and that one part of Sankhya philosophy, that I don't know. I'm not very sure. But as far as Buddhism is concerned, no beginning. Reason, since no independent self, self mere designated on the combination of body and mind. So in order to investigate whether there is beginning or not about the self, we have to investigate beginning or not about the basis of the self. That's body and mind. That body, obviously, of course, the subtle substance of this body, again, no beginning. Mind is the main factor to designate self or sentient being. Plants, flowers also have life, but no feeling of consciousness, no feeling of cognitive power. So these we do not consider, these are living being, but not sentient being. We make distinction. So the sentient being, the main basis to designate sentient being is the consciousness. So now it is sort of logically, when we find the answer whether there is beginning or not about that self, then we have to find out this beginning of that consciousness. Now the Buddhist logic goes this way. Any phenomena which momentarily changing must have causes and conditions. Among the causes, there is two causes, one substantial cause and one existing cause. You already know. So the substantial cause means a thing which eventually transform that result. Like some articles made by certain material, then the substantial cause of that material already there. The shapes and different shapes. The substantial cause is same. So consciousness, the substantial cause of consciousness must be consciousness. Matter never become substantial cause of consciousness. Similarly, consciousness never become substantial causes of matter. Cooperative or assistance assist each other, that's yes. But substantial cause, matter must be continuation of matter. Consciousness must be continuation of the consciousness. So therefore, no beginning of consciousness. So the designation of I, also no beginning. So that's Buddhist answer. Then third question, whether there's end or not. I think according theistic religion, I'm not very sure. After we die, short period rest in the coffin. Then final judgment come. Then either go to heaven or sometimes some people go to hell. One my friend, one Indian, very religious-minded, he asked me, God so gracious, so compassionate. So he find it very difficult to know, difficult to understand. Among God's creature, there are many mischievous people there. Why God creates such mischievous people? He sincerely asked me that question. Of course, I know him, so half joke. I told him, since God already created hell, so there must be someone who have to go hell. Otherwise, no purpose, creation of hell. So, you see, either you go to heaven or hell. I think go to heaven, once you reach heaven, then no end, that self, I think very good. We are then very happy. No, because forever now we be happy. So if you go there, no end. Ah, that's quite troublesome. So I'm not very sure. You see, according to the Christian sort of the theory as well as the sort of Islam, I don't know. Now, I think Sangha, that part of Sangha, and also Jainism, they call Atma, da shirik kibu sukhan sikore. Da shirik kibu. Tam kyo no? Atma, self. Once realize the ultimate reality, then all the phenomena which create by ultimate reality, then all creations, dissolved, the ultimate reality, that's a moksha, nirvana, moksha. So perhaps I think Atma still there, remain permanently, most probably. Now, as far as Buddhism is concerned, you see two school of thought. Vivashek school of thought. Some branch, there are 18 different branches of Vivashek school of thought. Some believe when we reach moksha, nirvana, at Mahabharata nirvana, marve, thaminande. Oh, I don't know that word. Thaminande. And anyway, thaminande tabe kadula ripa junshen dyogare. Da chiraba deba chabja nangi deba kashashim dida deba mado shen dodeba yensheki ripa junshen mendibari. I think historically, after Buddha firstly passed away, then eventually, I think one important center that in West India, now today in Pakistan, Takshashila, Takshila sort of institution. So perhaps I think the Vivashek as a tradition, I think very much sort of flourished. So the Pagana Tiduga Kajistamawa, Niwopa, Sashunga, Niwopa, Pajil, Yaga Udwa, Pajil Chiramawa, Didi, Niwopa Sache. That Takshishla, the Afghanistan, Pakistan, Afghanistan, the Zuki, the Pajil Kajistamawa, the Pajil Israel. So then eventually, the Nalanda institution started. Now there, most of the Nalanda scholars, they are writing mainly in Sanskrit. Then later, Birkamalashila, that also in Bihar, UP. I think most probably, I think in UP. So Nalanda also in UP, Bihar. Oh. So basically, according Sanskrit tradition, Buddha carry 3 Dharma wheels. First Dharma wheel at Sarnath, teaching of Four Noble Truth. Then second Dharma wheel in Rajgir. That's Panchaparamita Sutra mainly. Then third Dhamma wheel in Kasa, Vishali. Then different sort of text, few different texts also is taught. So now I think it is important to make clear the Four Noble Truth teaching at Sanath is publicly he taught. And then although I think in the Pali tradition also I think mentioned Brahma, Sangpada Jeshimero, Indra and Brahma, Gaza, India, Burma, Brahma. But more or less publicly sort of that sermon or that teaching carried publicly. Therefore, it is recorded. Then the second and third sort of Dharma wheel, selected audience who have certain sort of spiritual sort of experience or level, they can communicate with the like Avalokiteshvara, Manjushri, Maitreya, and Samendabhadra, so on. So these people, we ordinary people cannot see, cannot sort of communicate with this sort of what's the deity form of Bodhisattva. So that's audience selected. And third Dharma wheel also as well, I think. So now this text, Heart Sutra, is the one of the shortest, the Panchaparamita Sutra. There are several sort of several ranges of Panchaparamita Sutra, and this is one of the shortest. So this is common for all Buddhist countries. I mean, all those Buddhist countries which study the Sanskrit tradition, like China, Japan, Korea, Vietnamese, Vietnam, and Tibet, Mongolia, this area. And then the first Dharma wheel, Pali tradition, Burma, Sri Lanka, Thailand, Cambodia, Laos. I think it is very, very important to know these Pali tradition, Sanskrit tradition, some people feel something separate. No. Pali tradition, as I mentioned earlier, foundation of Buddha Dharma. And then Sanskrit tradition further sort of the explanation or elaborate the third noble truth, cessation, Nirodha, right? Nirodha, third sort of the out of Four Noble Truths, the third Four Noble Truth, and then the third Dharma wheel related with some sort of important text of third Dharma wheel, further sort of explanation about mark, the possibility of that kind of sort of mark. And through that way, possibility to achieve Nirodha or Nirvana, like that. So all these three Dharma wheel, you see, screens away.
Marks.
First, one sort of teaching for Noble Truth, then second teaching, further explanation about third for Noble Truth, then the third Dharma wheel, some text, you see the further sort of explanation about mark, the path. Now, time for lunch. So we always stress emptiness, no absolute independence. But sometimes when we feel very hungry, then food is something absolute.
Okay.